So as of the time of this taping, DoorDash, Uber Eats, and now in the UK, Deliveroo are going to be striking on Valentine's Day. They're striking because of the ever decreasing wages. They're striking because the wages seem to be going down and down and down. And honestly, at this point, I'm wondering where the floor is. As a delivery driver, I have about 6,000 deliveries under my belt, so I've been doing this for about 4 years. And I've seen delivery fees go from $5 or $6 all the way down to now we're at a $2 delivery fee. So I'm just wondering where the bottom is. So glasses for this one. So thousands of drivers for ride-sharing platforms Uber, Lyft, and delivery app DoorDash will strike across the country on Valentine's Day. Their strike call is the first since Uber and Lyft went public in 2019. The strikes are set to take place about a week after Lyft said that it would pay the difference if drivers made less than 70% of what riders paid after external fees each week. Here's a quote for you. It said, "We are consistently working to improve the driver experience." Lyft, which is set to report quarterly results on Tuesday, told Rutgers on Monday. So the drivers, who are considered independent contractors, have accused the platforms of taking disproportionately high amounts of commissions. This is true. By not paying drivers a livable wage, drivers are barely able to afford the bare necessities, said Shanton Humphrey, a driver in Dallas, Texas. While many drivers sign up with these firms to supplement their income from other jobs, some drive full-time on the platforms. I'm a full-time DoorDasher. A year into the algorithmic price, these drivers have incredible decrease in their pay. Whatever calculations and the algorithm are using is absolutely useless. Nicole Moore, president of California-based rideshare drivers United Union, told Rutgers on Sunday. In 2023, Uber drivers' monthly average gross earnings fell 17%, while those of Lyft drivers increased 2%. Drivers' earning remains strong. Drivers' earning remains strong in the U.S. while making $33 per utilized hour. I want you to read that again. Are you ready? U.S. drivers were making $33 per utilized hour. What's a utilized hour? It's not an hourly pay. They're trying to pass this off as we're paying them $33 an hour. And that's what people are hopefully not listening to. The utilized hour is the time that a rider is in your car to the time they drop off. That doesn't count the time to and also the time going to. So they use terms like this to justify their low wage. They're not giving you the right numbers. They use words like utilization hour, and then they use active time as another measurement of how they're paying you. These are buzzwords created by these gig economies to make you think that we're actually making out better than we're not. Okay. So last week I talked about striking and what I feel could actually make an impact. I think it has to be an inside-out approach. I don't think you can go right after these companies and expect them to change. You see, they keep using these buzzwords to confuse the public at large. Active time. The other one is utilized time. And honestly, these are just buzzwords to deflect what's really going on. Active time is not an hourly wage. I am very adamant about giving my hourly time, not my active time, when I'm reporting my earnings, when I'm doing my POV stuff, because you need to know what I'm actually making, not that buzzword time. I see active time, I might be making $40 an hour, but in real time, I'm making $20 an hour. And that's what these companies don't want you to know. So in the article I just read, basically, I'm going to use Uber as an example. They say that their drivers are making $33 per utilized hour. So again, $33 to the layman sounds like great money. And then that leads you to think that, wow, they want me to tip them on top of $33 an hour? Do you see where the miscommunication starts coming in, and you see where this give and take starts happening between the customer and the driver? And this is all created by, you guessed it, the companies, because they don't want a dog in this fight. They want to sit back and just collect their money. So if you're not a gig worker, I need you to understand that utilized time and active time is not an hourly wage. So the strike is centered around wages. And I did get some comments from my last video. And one that kind of struck me was most people do this part-time. And I understand that, but that's not an excuse not to pay people. So even if you're a part-time worker, is it okay to take the bare minimum of money? I don't think so. I think a living wage should apply part-time, full-time, plus time, right? So if you're a gig worker, should you strike? The answer I'm going to give you is probably not, because only about 130,000 workers are going to strike. They are part of this small coalition. And if you had the day off anyway, take the day off, be with your loved one, go out to dinner. If you are part of this coalition, you know what? I applaud you for giving it that effort, but don't really think it's going to make that much of a difference. And if you're a driver and you're scheduled to work tomorrow, you might as well go out and make a few dollars, because there may be less dashers on the road, there may be more demand, and you may make probably a little better than what your normal wages would be. So I just want to give a couple of channel updates. So I haven't really been doing POVs lately because honestly the weather has been just so crappy. It's been so slow. I've only been doing about 5-hour shifts. Just to kind of give you an idea, on average, I'm making about $100 a day. I've been going out 5 or 6 days, so I'm still making about $600 a week, just the bare minimum to get by. I was going to do some POVs yesterday, but as you can see by that, I left without my harness, so I couldn't do any POVs. I promise I will get better next week. I say next week because the weather this week in New England is going to be bitter cold, and I don't anticipate doing a whole bunch of POVs and being out in the cold on my scooter. So in lieu of the weather, I'm going to be doing a 3-part series this week. I'm going to spend a lot of time in the studio pumping out some hopefully great content this week. So we're going to talk about the strike. We're going to talk about if anything happened. We're going to talk about some tips and tricks to do while it's slow to maximize your profits. I'm probably going to go live on Saturday to basically just chit chat. So let's see where it goes. And I might do one segment on multi-apping. I don't really do a lot of multi-apping, but I may do a segment on it. I feel like I could probably impart a little knowledge so you can get by and at least pay your bills in the winter.